Imagine waking up one morning to discover that strangers had come to count everything you owned. Your goats, your chickens, your farmland, your palm trees. Then rumors begin to spread. They want to tax women. For many people today, that may sound like a minor issue. But in southeastern Nigeria in 1929, it was enough to ignite one of the largest anti-colonial uprisings Africa had ever seen. An uprising led not by soldiers, not by politicians, not by kings, but by ordinary women, market women, farmers, mothers, widows, women who had simply had enough. Over 10,000 women would rise together. British colonial offices would be surrounded. Administrative centers would be shut down, and the British Empire would be forced to listen. But what really happened? Why did thousands of women risk everything? And how did a protest become one of the most important moments in Nigerian history? Tonight, under the moonlight, we tell the story of the Aba Women's Riot, a story of courage, resistance, and women who refuse to be silent. Welcome to Moonlight Tales Nigeria. To understand the riot, we must first travel back nearly 100 years. Nigeria was under British colonial rule. The British controlled administration, trade, taxation, and local governance. In many parts of southeastern Nigeria, traditional systems already existed long before the British arrived. Communities were often governed through councils, elders, age grades, and community assemblies. Women were not powerless. Far from it. Women held influence through market networks, community organizations, religious institutions, and collective actions. If leaders behaved unfairly, women could organize protests and public demonstrations. This system had worked for generations. Then colonial rule arrived, and everything changed. The British introduced a system known as indirect rule. Instead of governing every village directly, they appointed local representatives called Warrant Chiefs. Many of these men were not traditional rulers. Some had never had authority before, yet suddenly they possessed immense power. They collected taxes, settled disputes, controlled local affairs. Corruption became widespread. Abuse of power increased. Ordinary people began losing trust. Women suffered, especially because their traditional influence was gradually pushed aside. Decisions affecting entire communities were increasingly made without them. Resentment grew quietly. Year after year, village after village, until one spark changed everything. November 1929, a colonial census worker named Nwanyeruwa arrived in Oloko. His assignment seemed simple: count property and household resources. During his work, he approached a widow named Nwanyeruwa. He asked questions regarding her possessions. Immediately, she became suspicious. Why were they counting her property? What was the government planning? Rumors had already spread that women would soon be taxed. Men were already paying taxes. If women were taxed too, many families would struggle to survive. Nwanyeruwa challenged him. A heated argument followed. Soon, she shared the encounter with other women. The story spread rapidly, faster than anyone imagined. Across markets, across villages, across regions, the message was simple: the government is preparing to tax women. Whether true or not no longer mattered. The fear was real, the anger was real, and the reaction would be extraordinary. Something remarkable happened. Without telephones, without radio stations, without social media, thousands of women mobilized. Traditional communication systems carried the message. Women informed relatives, neighbors, friends, market associations. Soon, thousands gathered, then thousands more. They came from different communities, different backgrounds, different ages, yet they shared one purpose: to stop injustice. The movement spread across present-day Abia, Imo, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers regions. What began as a local dispute became a mass movement, a movement unlike colonial authorities had seen before. The women employed a traditional protest method called sitting on a man. This did not involve violence. Instead, women would gather around a target. They would sing, dance, mock, chant, and publicly shame leaders who abused power. The goal was accountability. The women surrounded warrant chiefs, administrative officers, colonial representatives. They demanded answers. They demanded justice. And most importantly, they demanded respect. For weeks, the protest expanded. The British administration became increasingly alarmed. They had underestimated the women, a mistake they would soon regret. Colonial officers feared they were losing control. Reports arrived daily, crowds growing, offices surrounded, government authority challenged, roads blocked, meetings disrupted. The protests remained largely non-violent. Yet, authorities viewed them as a threat. Instead of dialogue, many officials chose force. Troops were deployed, police were mobilized, tensions escalated. The atmosphere became dangerous. Then tragedy struck. In several locations, colonial forces opened fire on protesters. Women who had come carrying songs instead faced bullets. Panic erupted. Chaos spread. Families searched desperately for loved ones. Historical records indicate that more than 50 women were killed. Many others were injured. The exact numbers remained debated, but the loss was devastating. Mothers, daughters, sisters, gone. The movement had demanded justice. Instead, it encountered violence. Yet, even in death, their message could not be silenced. News of the killings spread rapidly. International attention followed. Colonial authorities launched investigations. The British administration was forced to review its policies. Several warrant chiefs lost power. Certain colonial practices were reformed. Women gained greater recognition in local governance discussions. The British Empire had learned a painful lesson. These women were not passive subjects. They were political actors, community leaders, and a force capable of challenging colonial authority. Today, many Nigerians know little about the Aba Women's Riot, yet its impact remains enormous. Long before modern political movements, long before independence, these women demonstrated collective power. They showed that ordinary people can challenge injustice. They showed that courage does not require weapons. And they proved that history is not made only by famous men. Sometimes history is made by market women, by mothers, by widows, by communities standing together. This struggle became part of the larger journey towards Nigerian independence, and their legacy continues to inspire movement for justice across Africa. As night falls across Aba today, the markets eventually grew quiet. The roads became still. The voices fade. But if history could speak, perhaps we would still hear them. The songs, the chants, the footsteps of thousands of women marching together. Women who stood before an empire and refused to bow. Women who changed history. Women whose names deserve to be remembered. Their story is not just a chapter in a textbook, it's a reminder. And courage can come from ordinary people. And sometimes the strongest force in history is a community united by truth. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Moonlight Tales Nigeria for more forgotten Nigerian legends, mysteries, heroes, and true historical stories. Tell us in the comments, had you ever heard of the Aba Women's Riot before today? And which Nigerian historical story should we uncover next? Until next time, keep the fire of our history alive, and good night.